Greeting everyone, DFG here, coming to you from the cemetery. Hey guys, just want to take a minute, share some thoughts with you around a video documentary that I saw on yesterday. And this documentary was recently done. The documentary is on Chicago, the south side of Chicago in particular. And there were some observations, some notes that I took away from the documentary, and I thought it would be important to just kind of review this with the general public, because what was very, very surprising to me, maybe it shouldn't have been, but it was just the mindset, the mentality, you know, of the men that were interviewed or participated in this documentary. So I wanted to share just some of these observations that I took and wrote down, and then maybe give a little insight on it. Again, it's a documentary that I saw on Chicago, and the insight that I want to share, and the reason I want to share this insight, again, is I want to continue to emphasize who's responsible and who's accountable for the mayhem, you know what I'm saying, that's going on in that city. And then we can draw our own conclusions, you know, as we continue to learn more about what's happening in Chicago. But here are some notes. These are comments that some of the young men, no one in this video was under 25 years old. I saw several men standing up outside with their pants on, and literally their pants, the waistline of the pants were literally at right above the knees. It was amazing. Grown men with their pants lying all down their knees. Now, if that's got something to do with bigotry, somebody needs to help me understand exactly what that is, because why grown men want to, excuse my language, show his butt, and I almost said the A word, and how that relates to something that white America, you know, is responsible for, it's totally confusing to me. I don't get it. You know, the old saying, sometimes you got to connect the dots. Well, one of you guys going to have to connect the dots, because I can't connect those dots. That makes no sense to this brain that I have. I don't understand the connection. But anyway, I digress. But here's some of the comments. Real niggers die behind this shit. And they were talking, I'm just quoting them. So if you got children, send them out the room, because there's some more of this. Real niggas die behind this shit. Talking about the streets. The little streets that they're running up and down. Turf. Then we had them showing, you know, 40 caliber bullets, these young men in the room together. Another comment, this shit comes around, the killing. It will never stop. You know, it rotates. And interestingly enough, you know, there were some comments that I made on my last video about the so-called, you know, purge. And these people talking about, you know, whites doing this killing with masks on, which is crazy and ridiculous. But from their mouth to my ears, they admitted that this has been going on in their community for years and years and years. Their grandfathers were killers, their dads were killers, and they're killers. And then they said, well, the reason why this is happening is because we have no program, no jobs, and no guidance. And it's interesting, again, who are they expecting to put programs in their communities for grown men? Who are they expecting to come and bring jobs in war zones? Who's going to open up a business in a war zone? Would you open a business in a war zone? Because I know I wouldn't open a business in the war zone. And then no guidance. Well, who are they expecting to get their guidance from? Oh, let me guess. The same white racist, white bigot who hates them, they want the white bigots and the white racists who hate them to give them guidance. What's wrong with that picture? And just so you know, they weren't talking about looking for men of color for guidance. Quote unquote, nobody here wants to be like Mike. Michael Jordan is a man of color last time I checked. So obviously they're not talking about guidance from men of color. So I guess that means they want the racist, the bigot, you know, government who's holding them back, you know, and also the government who's allowing them to kill up each other like poop going through a goose. Okay, let me go on. Say most don't make it to live to be 25 years old in their community, and that is because they kill them. Even at schools, they have police officers in the school because the teachers are afraid to deal with some of these, unfortunately, criminals in the classrooms. And here's another quote. They're locking people up. Locking people up is like stealing lives. No, like locking criminals up is saving lives. And I am a big advocate against the mass prison, the prison industry complex. And I do believe that black men, the stats say it as well, men of color, are 6 times more likely to be charged and sentenced for a crime than their white counterparts. That's a fact. Go look it up yourself. I'm not making it up. I do agree with that. But I don't agree with criminals not being held accountable. If you're behind, if you're doing the crime as they say, then be willing to do the damn time. So it's not stealing lives. It's saving lives by locking them up. The state needs to be giving them tools so that they can be happy. I call that the daddy statement. That's the, again, the white daddy statement. White daddy needs to give me some toys so I can play, so I can be happy. The media, of course, they blame the media. The media is always showing the negative stuff. Note to self, maybe if you did positive things and you didn't do the negative things, like killing each other, committing violent acts on each other, maybe the news wouldn't have anything to report negatively. Just a thought. And then you had a gangster rapper by the name of King Louis, who has a song says, "Live and die in Chicago," but he feels like that song doesn't have anything to do with the crime in Chicago, and that, that's just a way for him to make some money. So if making money is exploiting young black men and encourage them to kill themselves, I guess that's a hell of a way to make a great living for yourself. Another one. Check this great quote out. This is a good one, guys. Here's a real, real good one. School ain't shit. Okay. Then, there was another segment where you had this shop owner who gives away turkeys every year. And, giving away turkeys is a good thing. People don't have the means to be able to get, turkeys. I get that part of it. But it was interesting. A grown man, probably 40 years old, standing in line, had the audacity to be complaining and moaning and whining because he had to stand in line to get his free turkey. Well, I'll be damned. Let's go on. Another man. Oh, I'm sorry. And here's another one. The gangster rapper said there's no way out of the hood. What did he say? No way out. I guess he said it's no way to get out of the hood. Now, unless they've got balls, unless Chicago has become, remember the movie Escape New York? Kurt Russell, where that New York, the city of New York had become a giant prison. So, and it was fenced in, and they had armed guards all on the outer perimeters to keep them in. Now, unless Chicago has created that, and somehow I hadn't seen it, because remember, just for the record, guys, I lived in Chicagoland for 5 years, and I worked in Chicago for 5 years. And part of the area responsibility that I had was south side of Chicago, Evergreen Park, Inglewood. I worked with individuals down in that area. And I got in and out every day, by the way. So I don't know where that came from in terms of you can't escape. You can escape if you don't want to be there. And again, if you're 12 years old, I get it. If you're 20 years old, as they say, talk to the hand. Couple other things. And then it says, I guess this is my quote, this is my statement. Those men are totally out of touch with reality. If you just listen, and maybe you ought to go back and watch the documentary, but some of the stuff they were saying, they even made comments like, South Side of Chicago would be better if people came and started taking their vacations in Chicago, South Side. So when you're looking at the streets, even they don't walk down their streets. Even they don't, trust, crossing the street. Even they walk around looking for shooters if they're not the shooters. But somehow, white America, because that's I'm sure who they're talking about, needs to go down in the hood a war zone, as some call it, chiraq, and I take no pleasure in saying that, but that's what they call it after Iraq, and take your family there for vacation. I could say I wouldn't do it because they might get mugged, shot, and killed, but I'm not going to say that. And this is how they ended it. You know, this is quote unquote. Everyone needs an opportunity to. Guys, I hate to use this language, so please understand. I'm just quoting it because I need to give it to you raw. This is your news. This is your information, and you need to hear it like it gets said. If you're interested, you know this is what they said. No more apology about it. Everybody needs the opportunity to fuck up sometimes. Really? I guess that's the same thing as making a mistake, but I don't think shooting, stabbing, robbing, killing needs to be looked at as an opportunity to F up. I suspect that one time is more than enough, especially if you're the person that's being victimized. And I'll end this video with this. You know, it's a sad situation there. It's be honest with you, I'm a very optimistic man. The Gideon Flight is about not only re-educating men, but helping men to rehabilitate themselves, to help men work through their issues and their problems. But I would tell you, based off of what I saw yesterday that's going on in the south side of Chicago, that is a bad, bad situation. And I would tell you, would I go down there to try to help? Yeah, I would go. But I damn sure would not go along, and I would bring some heavy hitters with me, if you know what I mean. You know, at the end of the day, black men, you got to use your brains. You cannot continue to sit around and wait for somebody else to come in and stop you from doing what you're doing to yourself and what you're doing to your community, terrorizing the community. You know, Marvin Gaye had a song that called, I think it was Inner City Blues. I think is what it was. He said, make me want to holler, throw up my hands. You follow me? That's how I feel about, you know, some of this stuff that's going on in these communities. And I bring it to your attention again because this is happening because of behavior that's going on inside the communities. Again, time out for blaming white people, time out for blaming racism, time out for blaming bigotry. When you're doing it to yourself, then you're responsible. And I'm telling you, as a man who understands your plight, who's been down there, has seen it, you follow me? I'm telling you, if I can figure it out, and many like me, male, female, have figured it out, you can figure it out too. That is no excuse. You have no excuse for doing what you're doing in Chicagoland. And a friend of mine told me Indianapolis is just as bad. You know, shootings every single day, 3, 6 getting killed every night. Black on black, of course. And that is sad, really, really sad. So at the end of the day, all I'm going to say to you is that, look, you know, black men, if you want to save yourself, you better go home and take care of your responsibilities. You better start figuring out how to avoid incarceration, how to avoid nefarious acts, how to go out and give the guidance that, according to your sons, they didn't get. And you need to apply that guidance. And then you need to, once you educate them, then you need to be the one to encourage them, and then you need to be the one to empower them. Not some white daddy, government system, police system, state system, you know what I'm saying, who really don't have the time, the resources, and too goddamn afraid to come down there and do it for you. Okay? I love you. You know, men supposed to roar like lions, not meow like kittens. So if my voice comes across strong because I'm a lion, I'm not a damn kitten. If you need somebody to meow, then go find you a beta man and let him just, you know, be your little kitten. You can rub his head and he'll purr, pull his pants down to his knees and ask you for some milk. I want meat, and I'm going to sound like I do. Love you guys. Thank you for listening. Oh, by the way, keep an eye out on those Asians. I tell you what, some of the stuff that they're doing, you might be, this is to the mess of the black folk, you might be thinking your enemy is your Caucasian neighbor. Your enemy might be them Asians over there. Because those are some prejudiced, anti-black son of a guns. Just saying. Love you guys. Thanks. DFG, Gideon's Flight.